Hey y'all, it's Brady. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really glad to have you here. If you are new here, we are a family of 4 plus a crazy dog. So we have a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, my husband, and myself, plus our crazy dog. My husband works crazy hours. I work crazy hours part-time, and I'm also in school. Our oldest is in school, so life is busy, just like everyone else. But I wanted to share with y'all a cook with me video today. So I am not working today. It is about 3:25 to be exact, and I am finishing up some bread, and then we're gonna make chicken Alfredo for dinner. So we tend to eat pretty early, about 4:45, 5 o'clock, because the girls go to bed pretty early. I want to go ahead and get this bread going. I'll link the recipe down below, but it is a no-knead bread, and we're gonna, fingers crossed, hope this turns out. So far I've not had much luck with bread but I have read reviews and watched this video multiple times, and they all say it's very easy, so we shall see. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in right now the clip for you where I mixed up the ingredients, and again I'll link the video and the recipe down below for you, and go from there, because this one is not my recipe, but we're hoping it works out. And if it does, I'm sure this will be a recipe that we do often. Okay, so this first step here, I'm just showing you mixing everything up. We've got 3 cups of flour. Calls for all-purpose or baking flour, but I had self-rising, so I just didn't add the salt that's called for in the recipe. 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, and it is just the active dry yeast, and she said it doesn't matter what kind of yeast you use, so we're going with it. And 1.5 cups of hot but not boiling water. Mixing it up. I did show you that little bowl over to my right is just a bowl of a couple of tablespoons of extra flour that we will need for shaping this dough ball after it rises. So you can see it is a super shaggy dough. The recipe and her video assured me that's the way it is supposed to be. So you just roughly mix that up there. That's what it looks like. It kind of looks to me like a shaggy biscuit dough. So yeah, and then some plastic wrap. If I can get this apart, you're going to see me struggle with it, as I always do with plastic wrap. But I literally only keep it around for something like this. I think I've had that roll of plastic wrap for like 2 years, because that's literally all I use it for. So okay, so now that you saw how I mixed it all up and how simple that was, I've just got 2 tablespoons of flour, which is what the recipe calls for, just to kind of flip this bread around and shape it into a ball. And then we're going to let it rise about 30 more minutes while we wait on our oven to preheat to 450 with the Dutch oven in the oven as well, so that all gets preheated. So I'm going to start that now, and then I'll set you up so you can watch me kind of form this up and get it ready. Okay, so time to shape this loaf. I've got my oven preheating to 450 with the Dutch oven in there, and that's the way that you'll want to do it, so that the Dutch oven also reaches 450. Don't want to put it in a cold Dutch oven and then into the hot oven. You want it all that same temperature. So you can definitely see it has risen. I don't know that it doubled in size, but it definitely rose, which is good. That's a good sign so far. And like I said, she said you can, in her recipe, she said you can leave it for more than 3 hours. I just stuck with the 3 hours because I wanted it to be done for dinner. But I think I might do it even earlier next time. She said it doesn't matter. You just want at least 3 hours. And so I'm just tucking all this in. She said about 12 turns. And so no real kneading. It definitely looks like a loaf of bread here. So yeah, put it on your parchment, put it in a bowl, and then we're going to cover it with a towel. And you just let it sit and rest until the oven is preheated, and then you put it in there. So yeah, there we go. Super simple. And then I'm just going to clean up my kitchen in the meantime while we wait. Okay, so here is the disaster from my bread making, which isn't much. The dishes that have yet to be unloaded, my plate and seasonings that I'm going to use for making the chicken, and then the lunchbox was there, and my cup of water, and just all the stuff. I don't know about you, but I feel like with a smaller kitchen space, if I put like 4 things on the counter, then the counters are full. So we try to keep them as clear as possible. This is just that time of the day where the dishes had not been unloaded and reloaded yet, and I was actively cooking. So time to clean it up. Again, we're going to keep this plate because I just got it out to put the chicken on, and then we'll put our seasonings on it here in a bit. Move all those over as well. Oh, somebody left their snack. Okay, so I'm just going to unload these, put some music on for y'all, and let's just sit back and watch me kind of tidy up while I'm waiting on that oven to heat up so I can put in our bread. Okay, so now that everything is cleaned up and our timer or our preheat went off, I'm going to pull this out very carefully. Keep in mind it's going to be very heavy and very hot. You can use whatever size Dutch oven you want. And I am just going to put this bread in here, like I said, with the parchment paper still underneath. Put the lid on and put it in for 30 minutes. And then at that point, we will remove the lid and cook another 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, now for the real proof. It's been in there 30 minutes. with the lid on. Now the directions say to pull it out. Take the lid off. Ooh, it's already pretty. Can y'all see that? No, you cannot. Let me show you. Okay, that is where we're at. And ignore my messy oven. We are going to put that beauty back in there for another 10 to 15 minutes. We will go with 12. And I'll show you the final product when we get there. In the meantime, move this out of my way because I will for sure burn myself on that. Because don't forget, that's okay. So I have got paprika and cayenne pepper, garlic powder, some minced onion. You could use onion powder also, some Himalayan pink salt, and some fresh ground black pepper. And so I am just going to liberally, if I can get it open, I'm just going to liberally coat our food, our chicken here, and seasoning, and then we will do the other side in a moment. Should just leave it a little. Okay. A little bit of cayenne. I like the spice, but if you don't like the spice, you could just leave it off, of course. Some black pepper. Perfect. Our garlic powder. Okay. And minced onion. Ooh, not the core inside. Still want to sprinkle that on it. Okay, so flip that over. You can poke a few holes as well. And that's why I liberally put that on there, because no matter what you do, you are going to lose some of your seasoning. It's just the nature of the beast here. Girls. Put cayenne on this side. I feel like cooking with kids is like you're a referee, as you can hear, and and a chef at the same time. Now, I like to make mine like this blackened chicken sort of recipe, but you can do yours with any kind of seasoning you like. You could marinate it. You could do whatever you want with that. So, I'm going to put these out of our way. Scoot this over. Okay, now. I'm just gonna get a pan out. Like, I love to hear them play. Like when they get along, it's amazing. Okay, so I don't know, probably 2 tablespoons, tablespoon and a half of olive oil, and we're just gonna let that heat up. And I'm gonna put my spices away while we're waiting. Now, there's also, I think it's like McCormick Grandmates, I think is the brand. But they have a, I think it's called Kickin' Chicken. And that one is my favorite if I'm going to use a pre-made spice blend. But what I was saying is you could use any kind of flavoring you like. You could marinate it in any kind of marinade you have. You could use leftover grilled chicken. This does not have to be complicated. So don't let that freak you out. So I'm also gonna go ahead and get out a pot to boil my noodles in. Even though we're not really ready. Pot out to boil our noodles and this pot to make our sauce. You could, of course, grill this outside on the grill. You could use already like the frozen pre-grilled chicken, whatever you prefer, whatever you have on hand. So I'm just going with this. We're just gonna sear it today. A lot of times I'll marinate a bunch of chicken at the beginning of the week and grill that up on our George Foreman grill so that we have that for salads and eating. Well, normally I grill all that out. We grill it all up at the beginning of the week. We'll have that to snack on for lunches, for salad, and for things like this. But I don't have any made, so what I'm going to do is just sear this up. So I'll show you that process too. You want it hot enough to sear it, but also hot enough to, or not too hot to where it burns on the outside and doesn't cook in the middle. And so these 2 chicken breasts will be more than enough for us. The girls will probably end up eating something else. That's just the nature of how this goes when I make the spicier seasoned. Not that this is spicy in my taste, but it definitely is for the girls. So that's how that goes. So I'll show you what all this looks like as we cook it up. And then I'll just slice this chicken up after we cook it. Okay, I think that's about good. I could have waited another minute. I'm just gonna plop it in there. Put this in the sink. Okay, here we are. It's still pretty warm, but I had to slice into it, so that is what it looks like. And obviously it would have been not quite so dense, I don't think, if I'd have waited to cut into it. But that's delicious. It is a little salty, which, excuse me, I don't know if it's because I had to use self-rising flour instead of all-purpose, but I'm loving it. That was super easy, and I think the verdict is that we will continue to make this recipe. So yeah, I can't wait to hopefully have some of it left. We'll see. We're big. I love bread, so we'll see, but I'm hoping by the end of the week to have a little bit left to make some homemade croutons. I think that'll be really delicious. Let me show you a peek over here at our chicken, and I decided to cook up the girls some chicken plain, so I've got that heating up for there. There's our chicken coming along. This one is probably ready to go. This one is a lot bigger, so it is going to take longer. So just be mindful of that. I've already got a pot of water ready. And I'll boil that here in a moment, and then we'll make our sauce while this is resting. The Alfredo sauce is really, really simple, so it doesn't take much time at all to come together. Okay, so I've got my pot of water boiling back, or coming to a boil. We've got a stick of butter here melting. And this is the point of the recipe where I am kind of messing up and adding the whole thing of whipping cream, but whatever. Minced garlic, definitely time to go to Sam's Club because that's almost out. 5 ounces of Parmesan cheese and the pint of heavy whipping cream. You want to wait till your butter's completely melted, add your whipping cream, stir it together, and let that warm. You do not want to boil it. You do not even really want it to come to a simmer. You just want to watch for that to come together there. And then you see I am cooking some plain chicken for the girls over there. So just gonna get that flipped over and watch this come together here. And then once the cream has come together, we will add our minced garlic. And then we add our cheese. So definitely need to get some more garlic. But this is a very inexpensive meal. I mean, even if you factor in the cheese and buying garlic, you know, if you had to buy a small container from Aldi or Walmart, plus one of my sticks of butter, you're looking at it, and the pasta, and the chicken, a pound of chicken. You're looking at $7 for this meal that will easily feed 4 and possibly 6 if you've got little kids. So I definitely think that's a great deal. You know, that turns into what, like $1.75 per person. Definitely cheaper than eating that out somewhere. So we're just going to add our garlic here, and that has sat for a while and just kind of come together. So we're also going to throw in our cheese. I like to leave a little bit just to put on the top when it is done. Once I have put my chicken on there and my sauce and my noodles and all of that, I like to just garnish it a little bit with some Parmesan shredded pieces. And you just stir it together. Of course, I have sped this up a little bit for you, but it definitely comes together quickly. This whole meal, especially if you already have that chicken together, takes just minutes. But you can do all of this in about 30 minutes aside from the bread. And even the bread's not much. It's just that waiting period. All right, y'all. So here it is. Just a simple salad. Some buttermilk ranch. Just using what we have left in the fridge. Here is our salad, or our pasta. I'm realizing now that you probably only want to use half of that pint. So I will change that down in the description box for you. It definitely made ours too liquidy, but it is still flavorful. So there you go. And it doesn't look quite so appealing spread out on a plate, but I'm loving it. It tastes delicious. I've already taste tested the sauce. And get us a wedge of yummy crusty bread on there. And that is dinner. The girls are having just that plain chicken and some fruits and veggies and ranch to go along with it. But that's it. That's how you make chicken Alfredo. Super simple, super easy. You can do it quickly using whatever chicken you have on hand, whatever recipe you prefer. Never you mind all that disaster mess back behind me. But thank y'all so much for joining me. Again, I love having y'all here. Thank you for bearing with me as I learn how to use a tripod and how to do all this stuff. But I really appreciate it. And I will talk to y'all down in the comments. Let me know, are you a chicken Alfredo fan or not? Some people don't like Alfredo sauce. Some people have never had it from scratch. And I think that makes the difference, because jarred sauce to me is, I just can't handle it. I know some people love it. And you know what? If you love jarred, use that. You do you. But we're going to do this way. You can hear my kiddos chomping at the bit to eat dinner. So let's get in there. Bye guys. Thank you so much for joining me.